Pakistan or this nation, generally the army is for the nation, and here you know that the nation is for the army. Some of the technology like Akash and the radar that was being used, Rajendra. So these technologies are indigenous. They are, they are created in India, made in India. So how proud are we of the technology that we have made and is being now tested in the war-like situation. And this warfare is not a regular warfare where soldiers are falling and blood is shed. To today, where we sit in the headquarters and actually monitor the action of one of the internationally wanted terrorists inside his house.
Okay.
Till he comes out and we strike. It is not a lapse on the security, but these are some of the, inevitable. When you have, when there were, so internationally also, you see, there was an attack on Pentagon. So do you think there was a lapse in security at Pentagon? When you're saying Op Sindoor, it is not because the Sindoor is lost, but it is to save the Sindoor of our motherland.
Operation Sindoor, India's befitting and massive reply to Pahalgam terror attack, has sent massive shockwaves across enemy lines in Pakistan. On April 22, 26 innocent lives were lost in the bloodiest terror attack in Jammu Kashmir's Pahalgam. 2 weeks later, India did a missile strike on Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. They targeted the terror camps which were belonging to Lashkar-e-Taiba as well as Jaish-e-Mohammed. It is believed that more than 70 terrorists were eliminated in this missile strike. Indian Defence Forces described this as non-escalatory and measured, precise strikes against the terror hideouts in Pakistan. Operation Sindoor, which is a very apt name because many wives lost their husband in this bloodiest and inhuman terror attack. Soon, 2 women officers led the march to brief the media. Colonel Sophia Qureshi and Wing Commander Vyomika Singh briefed the media regarding the Operation Sindoor. One such brave officer and courageous woman officer is present with us. We have with us Major Dr. Ashleisha Taude Kelkar. She has been the army doctor and she has been involved in various counter-insurgency and counter-terrorism operations. Today we are going to interact with her not just as a defense expert, but as a person who has deep understanding, and she has visited Pahalgam just 3 days before the terror attack. She has served in areas like Naushera, Rajouri, Poonch. These are the sensitive area where terrorism used to thrive. She has also been involved in Operation Sadbhavna before the abrogation of Article 370. So let's interact with her. Let's find out what is the current situation and how the tensions between the two nations are escalating. Ma'am, first of all, welcome to Lokmat Times. It's a great pleasure having you here.
Thank you, Nirmiti, for this opportunity to talk to you and talk to our viewers.
Yeah. Ma'am, so first question would be, how do you view this escalations between India and Pakistan? Because we are seeing constantly Pakistan is sending drones, we are intercepting them. So how do you view this development?
Nirmiti, as we all know that this area where they are constantly attacking with swarm of drones, etc. This area has always been not a quiet area. Army has always been at war here. Every day has been a war here. But now this time what has happened is they have also targeted some of the cities and the civil areas around, which is actually, like it was said, a new low even from Pakistan's point level. Yeah. So this kind of act, when is seen, it shows that somebody is really pushed to the wall, and left with no other option for saving their own face in front of not anyone else but their own people. So this is a kind of frantic effort to save their face, save the army's face or the armed forces. As we all know, Pakistan or this nation, generally the army is for the nation, and here that the nation is for the army. So the Pakistan army really runs, rules, and commands the entire nation. Here, when it comes to their army's ego or their army's face, their common people, their civilians have been starting to now mock at their armed forces. Right. So they have to somehow try and retaliate and show that they have something, or they have to show some effort is being done. So these are all those efforts which are face saver kind of efforts. They are nowhere close to an open war. Whatever they say, we call them just empty kind of threat.
Ma'am, Pakistan is also targeting civilian areas, and as we speak now, 200 to 300 missiles have been intercepted by Indian side. So we have deployed various missile systems, S-400 technology is there, Sudarshan Chakra technology, L-70 guns. So do you think we have an added advantage as compared to Pakistan, and how these modern technology will help us in this situation?
Nirmiti, the last time we had this, Uri strike, everybody remembers it. From then to now, there has been a sea change, but it has not been seen by many. It was done, in the just Shantikal, what we call. So it's not just. It's not just the technology, but also tactics and a far-sightedness of our leadership. So Honorable Prime Minister, when he talked to school children, of course some of the technology we have seen and gotten from other nations, but some of the technology like Akash and the radar that was being used, Rajendra. So these technologies are indigenous. They are, they are created in India, made in India. So how proud are we of the technology that we have made and is being now tested in the war-like situation, and we are winning. So what else? You said Sudarshan Chakra. So this Sudarshan Chakra is really working like how Sudarshan Chakra is. When there are hundreds of the crimes of this rogue nation are committed, Sudarshan Chakra comes in play. So that is how the technology and the newer technology. And what has happened is the enemy nation has failed to gauge this change in the technology leap which we have seen. And this warfare is not a regular warfare where soldiers are falling and blood is shed. Unlike the previous generations of wars, this is new age war, new technology. So where there is intel, there is artificial intelligence being used, there are barcoded missiles go and hover till the target is captured and then it is hit. Right. So this kind of technology, new age war is all about this, and our enemy has completely failed to gauge it.
Correct.
They are still in the older age where they come with suicide bombers, they come with religious connotations or religious hue to it.
Ma'am, you have called Pakistan as a rogue nation. So at LOC constant ceasefire violations are going on. So what do you think? When will these ceasefire violations stop, or will they escalate further?
Everybody has been saying this, but again I would like to reiterate, Pakistan has always been like this. Okay. And they have always done this. Now they have another supporter as well, a few supporters. Some of them support them openly, some of them may not be supporting, but somehow they have always done this. And till now, we have been, our strategy has always been inward strategy to protect our borders. Whatever comes inside, we will protect our borders and inside.
Okay.
Now this time when you see, to protect my borders, I'm going to go out. So when I'm talking of a missile, not attack but a missile strike, because it was not attack, it was still our defense.
It was non-escalatory measured response.
So it was still in our defense, but we are taking a preventive action. Where there are factories of terrorism, we're going to hit it. Even if they are outside my borders, I'm going to take that preventive action and I'm going to hit that target, and so that my borders are secured, my sovereignty is secured.
Ma'am, you yourself were also there in these sensitive areas which were filled with terrorism before abrogation of Article 370 and even after that. So what was your experience over there like? What's the atmosphere, especially in Pahalgam? And can you explain the terrain over there, how difficult it is for armed forces in such kind of tense situations?
Nirmiti, really speaking, when I was posted a few years back, say 15 years back, the places like Punch where I was posted, Rajouri, Surankot, and the posts above that, so wherever we have our battalions. So when we used to be there, the mobile tower network was also a privilege to have. We used to capture some of the 4 or 5 Pakistani mobile networks, whereas there used to be only one network of Indian our country, and that capturing that network used to be a privilege for us. Once in a while we used to get to call our own families from there. So that was the situation some years back. And from there to today, where we sit in the headquarters and actually monitor the action of one of the internationally wanted terrorist inside his house, till he comes out and we strike. So that has been the progress in the technology. When we talk of technology, if you want to know about the terrain, the terrain has always been tough in Jammu and Kashmir. So like Pahalgam here, where the attack happened, this particular Besran Valley, it's a jungle. So you have thick forestation. Then there is a plateau. Even in Pahalgam, or like right now where shelling is happening, Rajouri or Punch, these sections are terrain-wise one of the most difficult ones. We have the most difficult terrain, which is Leh and Ladakh and Kargil. We've fought a war there. So our Jawans, our battalions, they are very well trained and they are ready at any given point of time to go to war at any situation coming their way.
Ma'am, but questions were also raised that there were some security lapses when the whole Pahalgam incident happened. So do you think these theories have a point?
So when we say security lapses, we are saying that the tourists were there and behind them or beside them armed men were not there, and that was the whole point. When we as tourists, so even I have been to Jammu Kashmir as an army officer, and I have been to Jammu Kashmir as a tourist. So when I am going there as a tourist, I do not wish to keep seeing armed men with guns, AK-47, with bulletproof jackets, etc., standing right next to. How will I enjoy with my family if I am constantly under some kind of pressure, mental, pressure, threat that this is some other, some other terrain, this is some other region, and I am not safe here, or there is always a lurking,
But even police officers were not present. The families of the victims have also complained. They have raised this serious issue that security was need to have been heightened in such kind of tourist tourist places.
We can always say that there needs to be more security but do you know how much intel has gone into preventing any such incidents over these many years that the tourism has come up? At one point, when there are, so we always say no news is a good news in armed forces. So when there is no news in the channel, media, or any kind of public domain, you hear nothing.
Right.
So when there is nothing that is heard, there are 100 things which have been foiled at that level so that there is no news.
Correct.
When there is this one news, we say, but then even here, it is not a lapse on the security, but these are some of the, inevitable. When you have, when there were, so internationally also, you see, there was an attack on Pentagon. So do you think there was a lapse in security at Pentagon? So there is always this, chance.
Correct.
And what we are having now is the answer to that one. We don't even want, so we want zero error because it is coming to our civilians.
Correct.
So it has always happened with the armed forces. There has always been action with our armed forces. There were attacks on political leaders. There were some attacks on people coming to work from other states to Jammu and Kashmir. But this is never happened that the tourists coming from other states have been attacked, and that too at this level and this way, point blank.
Okay.
So this is where I would not say or call it as lapse in the security, but this is one of, and it can happen with best of the nations, and we are one of the best of the nations, and that is the reason why even this one chance when was taken, we are giving a strong answer back.
Ma'am, what is the narrative war in this whole situation? Because internationally also people are commenting, some nations are siding Pakistan, some are siding India. So what kind of, now you explained the whole technological modern warfare. So what kind of narrative war is going on globally?
Narrative war, or we can say, so we are the land of Chanakya. So a war is fought even before on the battleground. It is fought in the minds of the leaders. So this is not today's, but this is for the first time that the entire global community is standing with us.
In solidarity.
In solidarity and against the terrorism. Now, this is the first time. It has always been so that after something happened, Pakistan would, deny any connection
with the
terrorism, and then whatever action being taken is, hamare civilians. So our civilians were attacked. That kind of narrative. And this time also they tried to do that, but since we showed it, we proved it, and this time we have proofs.
That means they have always sheltered and nurtured terrorists.
Absolutely.
In their...
when we were posted there, Nirmiti, so we always knew when the Pir Panjal Pass. So there are these Pir Panjal ranges, which have Naushera, Rajouri are all at the base of all these Pir Panjal ranges. In summer season, the Pir Panjal snow melts.
Okay.
Right, and many passes open between LOC at the LOC, and that is when we, as armed forces, we always know that this is the time when people are going to be pushed in. The terrorists are going to be pushed in, and we have to be ready.
Infiltration happens
during this time because these passes open. Now, when we talk of development, I was telling you so there was a landslide in Anantnag, right? Ramban. So in Ramban, there was a landslide a couple of days back before this attack, and the National Highway 44 was closed. Right? Now, so many years, National Highway 44 has been the only lifeline which connects rest of the nation with Jammu and Kashmir.
Correct.
if that closes, everything stops. We used to struggle for ration to come up if the highways closed during winters or because of whatever reason. Now this time when landslide happened, not only the landslide was cleared within hours, but the Mughal road was also utilized through Rajouri to come down.
Okay.
Right, so that kind of geographical situation is there, and this Mughal road, which has always been, it's an ancient road which was never allowed to get developed, is now being developed. They said no problem, if the road gets covered in snow during winters, we will create tunnels. We have that kind of technology again, but not just technology, also the political willpower and strength to want to develop it. The development is the answer, not the war.
Ma'am, can you just tell about all these terror hideouts or the terror groups like Jaish-e-Mohammed, Lashkar-e-Taiba? So how do they operate, and what is the whole scenario regarding this?
These are all international organizations, and I think I am too small to talk about how they operate, because their operations, they have their strategies, they have their patterns, not strategies. We have seen in last few days how the strategies have failed. So I am not really a person who would
But Pakistan has always sided with them. They have always protected them. This has happened earlier also, right?
Yes, we have always seen that Pakistan has always panah de rakhi hoti hai unhone, and then they always say that this thing. The important thing is this time when we brought the things in front of media. So it was, again, the media briefing was a huge message, right?
And 2 women officers took the charge.
Yes, so one of them being Kashmiri, right? One of them being Muslim. And Vyomika. So it was a very, very loud and clear message that the religion that you're bringing in, the kind of cheap tactics that you're bringing in will not work.
Correct.
Today's India, in today's Bharat, you cannot have these kind of tactics. So that is the narrative, that is the message which is going out to the world. And when you're saying Op Sindoor, it is not because the Sindoor is lost, but it is to save the Sindoor of our motherland. Not just because it is lost. See, the greatest of wars in India, right from the beginning of the nation, have been for the honor of a woman.
Right.
May it be Ramayana, where Sita's honor was at stake. May it be Mahabharat, where Draupadi's honor was at stake. And today, where the women were sent back to tell the story.
कि मोदी को बताओ जाके.
And when it comes to the honor of this lady who lost her husband, who lost her Sindoor, it is her honor which is at stake, and to protect that honor. So it is an operation, to protect the honor of this lady, each lady, and our motherland.
Okay.
So that's the message which is. So it has got a very strong positive energy to it.
Correct.
It doesn't come from shed. Of course, it comes from the that is the reason, of course. But then it has got a very strong message for the enemy nation, but also not just for the enemy nation, but also for the entire world. When it comes to my honor of my motherland, we spare nothing. We can go because that is what we are here for.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for speaking to us. So this is what you heard from Ashlesha Taude, who is a major doctor. She has clearly stated that Operation Sindoor was to protect the motherland. She also talked about the technicalities of the missile system, of the drone system, and how we have evolved for in terms of technology, in terms of narrative. This is Nirmiti Patoye reporting for Lokmat Times. Thank you.